Hey everybody, Joel here. So I've got the 2000 2000 Excursion, and the cooling and the heat for that matter is only coming out the defrost. So I've checked out a couple of other videos, done some other research, and it could be several issues, could be vacuum problem. I saw one guy actually crimped off the vacuum going to his automatic hubs, and that redirected the vacuum in order to open the damper, and that fixed his problem. But the majority of the fixes I've seen are up in this actuator right up behind the glove box. So just to give you an idea where I'm at, I'm in the dash and this is the glove box here. I pushed the little tabs right in here, just a couple of tabs that you got to push in to let this glove box down. And right up in here is an actuator. I've already pulled the plug out, but now I've got to go ahead and disengage the actual actuator, and I picked up a screwdriver out of the garage here. And I'll go ahead and see if I can lift that out of there. Seems pretty easy. Just got to get this flat device in to lift it up, from what I understand. Well, not easy one-handed, so let me get this, I'll be back. Okay, I was able to dislodge it. There's a tab on each side here. One right up in here and one on the other side that you've got to get the actuator up and off and over. So get it pulled out here. Looks a little dirty. Okay. So, I don't know if I can just clean this up. I'm assuming it's shot. So I'll go to the auto parts store, pick a new one up, get it installed, and see if this takes care of our issue. All right, we got updates here. So I went and I picked up a new actuator for here. As you can see, the one that I have back in there is white. That's the original actuator. And it worked just fine. Everything worked on it because I put the new one in, and it did the exact same thing, which was basically nothing. So I tested it. I didn't really install it. What I did is I just tested it to see that it spun, and it did exactly what it was called to do. So took a little bit more looking around, and I learned about the vacuum pump here. So when I just turned the truck on, just the accessory, and the vacuum pump was running, and the vacuum pump continually ran. And I've learned that that is not what you want. You don't want that to continually run. So I made the assumption that there's probably a leak somewhere. So came around and I pulled out this hose. Actually goes into the damper, goes into somewhere inside. Must be another actuator that's hooked with the vacuum. And I held my hand on there and I couldn't get the pump to shut off. I put my thumb on the end of the hose. First of all, just to check to make sure that I actually got functionality out of the vacuum pump, is I pulled this one off and I put my finger on the end of it. It shut off immediately. And so I knew the vacuum pump was working just fine. So at that point, it's just a matter of tracing down these hoses and taking them off one at a time. Well, what I ended up with was taking them off the reservoir here and putting my thumb on that, and that actually made it shut off. So then I tracked down a little further. In here you've got the solenoid for the four-wheel drive right here, because I have lockouts, and I also have the dial four-wheel drive, so that has a vacuum feature. So that's where this red tube comes to. And I pulled that off and I held my thumb on the end of the red tube, and I was able to fill up the reservoir. It took about 2 minutes. I was able to fill up the reservoir with my thumb on there. The vacuum pump shut off. So what I did is I figured if I could do that, I'll put a piece of tape on it, and I turned it on, vacuumed down the reservoir, got the pressure built up, and I turned the fan, the blower on in the truck, and I got it to go from defrost to the vents to the floor, vice versa. I should have all my air conditioning running just perfect now. Hopefully that takes care of it. Again, it has nothing, well, my problem had nothing to do with the actual actuator, But as soon as I got that vacuum to hold, it was immediate. I was able to turn that on to the panel, and then I got air coming out of my vents here. So here I just have it in accessory mode. If I take and lift this piece of tape up, it's going to cause a little bit of a leak, and that vacuum pump should turn on. So the pump turned on. Now it's going to have to build that pressure. Once that pump stops, it should be able to actuate everything inside just fine. Actually should be able to do it with the pump running too. But let's see if I can get this air conditioning to work now. See if I can get it to blow cold air. It's coming right out of here. Boy, this is fantastic. It's first I've had these vents able to take air out. Oh, it's blowing nice and cold now. Well, I believe problem solved. Thanks for watching, everybody. Any questions, drop it. I'm not a mechanic by any means, just learning as I go. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.